This is Chet Holmgren, and I'm down to dunk.
This is AJ Mitchell, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Alex Crusoe, and I'm down to dunk.
It's like baby bottle pop. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is Adam Flagler, and I'm down to dunk.
Hey, it's Isaiah Hartenstein, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Cason Wallace, and I'm down to dunk.
I can't spell Lucas. Hey, how do you spell Lucas? How do you spell Lucas?
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
This is Nikola Topic, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Dylan Jones, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Isaiah Joe, and I'm down to dunk.
And there's probably like 50 to 75 BD babies.
Give me like your top 3 Pokemon.
Brother, I can't even name.
This is Jay Will, and I'm down to dunk.
Sometimes the way his brain works is it leaves a lot to be desired.
This is Kenrich Williams, and I'm down to dunk.
Charmander.
Yeah.
Charmander. Or you're more of a Charmeleon guy.
Charmeleon.
This is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and I'm down to dunk.
Schlecht. You know what it
Schlecht?
means? Yeah.
That means like bad.
It means bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, it was a good interview, so it wasn't bad.
J-Dub, year 3, and I'm down to dunk for the 3rd time. Thank you.
Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. With me, as always, on Wednesdays is my good friend, Alex Speers. Alex, what's up?
What's up, Andrew?
It's icy today in OKC.
Ooh.
Which,
are you slipping and sliding? You got to be getting out there and sledding with that knee, I imagine.
Just you know, it's they say the best time to have crutches is these times when it's icy outside.
Well, you can if you're sledding, you can use the crutch as kind of like an oar.
That's true. That's true.
That's cool.
I do have that is the advantage I have right now is is to use my crutch as an oar. So the Thunder play the Heat tonight here in Oklahoma City. I assume that the Heat are already here, all nestled in across the street from the Paycom. So that should be interesting to see the new look Heat in OKC, who struggled to score 85 points the other night.
Yeah.
As did the Pelicans, just absolutely struggle against the Thunder the other night, even though they had Zion. They just didn't stand a chance. It was over so quickly, and we got to see the full starting lineup. We didn't get to see like the full version of the Thunder because no Cason Wallace, no Isaiah Joe, but you got to see the starting lineup together with Shea, Dort, J-Dub, Chet, and iHart, and boy, are they just like completely overwhelming on the defensive end.
Yeah, I was looking at the stats from their first game together. So they played 16 minutes, and they were about 118 offensive rating, 87.5 defensive rating for a plus 30 net rating. And I would say the defensive side, actually, I think both of those numbers are pretty reflective of where they are right now, which is they're already very good together defensively, and the offense is solid. And it's just like, let's see how much better this can get, because you know, in that first stint, that first shift in the first quarter, you know, offensively, I actually thought it wasn't too bad. It was just that they had some bad passes. There were just a couple. There were like 3 bad passes that just didn't work out. They were turnovers, but the thinking behind the passes I thought was really good. Like the process there, like there was some flashes of big to big passing between Hartenstein and Chet, which gets me really excited. And I felt like you then saw that in the second half, like the beginning of the third quarter, all of a sudden, like the passing is just like way more crisp. And Chet missed a couple of threes that, you know, he might make eventually, but I thought the offense looked a lot better in that third quarter. But defensively, like even just the first couple of possessions where you have Hartenstein out on the perimeter guarding Zion, showing how mobile he is. And then as Zion tries to drive on him, Chet Holmgren coming over to help. And you just have these 2 7-footers, which Zion made one good pass out of it where he like kind of whipped it around the baseline to someone in the corner. But man, that's so tough because like you can't really pass over the top of those guys. So you either have to make a really good one-handed like bounce pass to the corner, or you have to pass it back out. And so, having those 2 guys, like it's just going to be it's going to be crazy. I mean, it did not feel like they were missing anyone last night. And like I completely forgot until you just said it that like Isaiah Joe and Casey Wallace weren't even there. And you add
you're thinking like, when are they going to play? And like AJ Mitchell, who just got like a new deal, like when is he going to play? Because all these guys are playing so well, especially when Aaron Wiggins has just been out of his mind, recently.
He is okay. So I have a stat for you. So he's had 23 points per game average over this 6-game span, right?
Yeah.
There's been 10 players in Thunder history who have done that. So there's obvious ones: Russ, SGA, KD, PG, Dub.
PG.
So that's 5 guys.
Did Melo do it?
Melo is one. Yes, Andrew. Wiggins is obviously one. So there's 3 other names.
Oladipo, did he do it?
No, Oladipo never did it.
God, Oladipo never did it. He had he was so weird here. He just wasn't that good in that 1 year that he was here. Okay. Who else would do 20?
While you're thinking, so Wiggins' previous high over a 6-game span, 15.6 is his like points per game average. So he's gone from that to 23 points per game.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So can you think of the other 3?
Maybe there's like somebody in like the rebuild. Did Dort do it? Did we mention
Dort has done it? Yes.
Okay.
Dort is one of the correct answers. So only 2 left.
2 left. Moses Brown didn't do it in like one of his weird stretches, did he?
No, that would actually kind of ruin the list. If I'm being honest. No, these are all guys who are very well known in the league. I'll give you a easy hint. It's the transition year for the last 2 guys.
The transition year. Which transition year? Chris Paul.
No.
No?
Correct team. Yes.
Oh, Gallo?
Gallo did it.
Wow. God, he's like one of the most forgotten players in Thunder history, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he was actually really good for them that year. It was really his last good year that he had in the NBA was with Thunder. Dennis Schroeder, right?
Yeah, it was Dennis Schroeder.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Gallo, because if I remember correctly, he had like multiple stretches like that over that season.
I'm pulling it up now. He averaged 18, 5, and 2 and shot 40% on 7 attempts from 3. I mean, he had a crazy. He honestly, like, you could argue that he has had like one of the best like years for a Thunder forward ever. Like outside of the Kevin Durant guys. I mean, if you consider J-Dub a forward, like he's obviously up there as well. But like, man, he had an outstanding year, and like it kind of gets forgotten.
And so that's the list. That's the list that Wiggins is now a part of.
Wow.
And he's just, I mean, the thing that just keeps blowing my mind is how good of a finisher he is.
Yeah.
I mean, he is,
sure.
Because it's not just transition buckets. Like the degree of difficulty on some of these rim attempts that he is just routinely hitting is so high. I was looking up on Clean the Glass. So he's shooting 71% at the rim, but he's listed as a forward. So it makes his percentile not look as good. But if you compare him to other wings, like that's what Amen Thompson is shooting at the rim right now. That's what Christian Brown is shooting at the rim right now. Like really high level role players. And that's where Wiggins is. And what's awesome about Wiggins is, in addition to having that, he's also now, his 3-point attempt rate is just exploded. Like last year, he took 31% of his shots from 3. This year, it's up to 46%. So you basically have like this 3 and rims guy who's just super efficient at both of those, and then is like a solid defender, we'll say.
Yeah, I mean, good enough, especially on this team, because he's like got decent length. Yeah, he's already taken 208 threes. Last year, he took 126 total threes.
Yeah,
and he played more minutes than he has this year. Last year he's just like you said, like and it's just his confidence. Like he has like this unwavering confidence now that you just hope sticks with him, because if it does, like I don't think he's going to average 20 points per game, but he could like legitimately be, and I think that he probably already is, like the sixth man for the Thunder. Like when we're talking about somebody that comes off the bench, and in 2 years, like it would not shock me if he's scoring like 15 points per game for the Thunder as like the six-man scorer for them. Like he has that kind of ceiling in my mind, like as a player, where you can plug and play him with the starters, you can play him in any spot, but like I think that he can come in and like really get buckets.
And even more importantly, like for the playoffs, having someone come off the bench who just is capable of doing that.
Yeah.
Because in the past, it really felt like, okay, like if Isaiah Joe isn't hitting a bunch of threes, I don't know who on the bench is going to like be able to just randomly get you a 15-point game.
Yeah.
And now it feels like Wiggins can be that a threat to be that guy every single game, and can absolutely be like our PJ Washington Jr. in terms of like the role player that the other fan base is just like furious at because they didn't realize how good he was, or it feels like he's playing above his head. Like he can be that guy. I mean, his scoring lately has just been so consistent. Like it does not feel fluky at all. I mean, yes, he's probably shooting like a ridiculous percentage from three right now.
The 3-point percentage, is crazy. But like everything else, you're right.
But he's
like
been a good 3-point shooter. So like it's not like he's going to fall down to like 30% or something. Like he's been a good 3-point shooter. So yeah, that has been a huge development. A few other things that I noticed. Now it wasn't true in these last 2 games. I think he only had 2 free throws total. But I did notice that Dub, even including those games, over his last 16 games, is over 5 attempts per game, which that's encouraging because for the season, I think last year he was 3.1 per game. This year he's 3.9. He's starting to get a little bit more. He's still having these games where he's just like not getting any calls. There's actually a really funny moment. I think it was in the 3rd quarter where he got hit on a drive and just like collapsed to the ground.
His like arms were back. His arms were back like this, and he just like completely fell to the ground. It was like, is he dead? Like, what happened here?
Yeah, he looked like a fish.
Funny. I think that I think he posted a picture of that on his Instagram too.
and then for Chet, I mean, it feels like the defense is like there. Like the defense hasn't really
he bounced right back. Yeah.
Like the way he was. How many blocks did he have against Missy? It was like at least 3 just on Missy. And one of them where like Missy kind of shook him, got around him right along the baseline, and then Chet comes back and just blocks him right at the apex. It was so good.
Yeah, he had
so
5
the defense
blocks.
is there. I think compared to his first game, we started to see him try more stuff offensively. Like you saw the coast to coast bucket he had. You saw him starting to try to do some drives to the rim. He's taking his threes. I think the offense is going to come along. Like he's clearly not where he was at the beginning of the season, where it's like, oh my gosh, like he's unlocked something offensively. Like this guy could be 20, 25 points per game really soon. Like he's clearly not there, but you can see that he's just like starting to get more. He looked more comfortable than in his first game. And the fact that they have this like long run of games towards the end of the season is just really exciting because we're going to get to see this starting lineup more. Eventually, Kayson's going to come back. Eventually, Isaiah Joe's come back. We'll get to see like full force OKC. And I think it's just going to be like a massive reminder to the rest of the league how good this team is.
Yeah, there's
like
nobody that matches the depth. There's not like one
when they
that
realize
this kind of
what this team has, it is terrifying. Like there's no one that comes close to them. I mean, that Memphis game, and Chet didn't even play in it. That Memphis game was so impressive.
Yeah, they obliterated Memphis.
They did, and the fact that it was the non-Shea 4th quarter lineup that like maintained that lead, I thought was super impressive.
Yeah, I mean they like a lot of people talk about Memphis's depth, but like they don't have anything close to OKC. I mean, OKC was missing a ton of guys that night, and it just didn't matter.
And Memphis's depth is like, I've been lower on Memphis in general. I know they're the 2 seed, but like I feel like their depth is more like, they found some guys, but you don't know if they're like actual real guys. Like
I know
this is why my thing with Memphis being like a contender, quote unquote, is like, how can you feel comfortable saying that knowing this team is starting 2 rookies? Like when is a contender started 2 rookies? And like bringing someone like Gigi Jackson off the bench, who like, yeah, he had a really nice season last year, but like you're really counting on him already in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I feel like they just still have so many unanswered questions about their depth in like a playoff scenario that, and when just doesn't look like like every other night, it's just like, I don't know if I can buy in this team, at least compared to a team like Denver, who I've seen do it, or maybe a team like the Lakers. We'll see what the Lakers end up looking like.
Yeah. Let's not judge it's funny. Like there's so many media and like talking head people that have completely like judged the Lakers off of one game against Utah, where basically Utah had like completely given up before they even started the game. It was just and I want to reserve judgment too for like Golden State, because like a lot of people have been like, look what the Warriors have done. It's like they're back. And it's like, well, like let's see them play somebody. Like they play the Rockets Thursday night, and we are going to talk to Kelly Eco for Slam and Jam this week, and I am so interested to see that matchup for like both teams, honestly, because like I don't know how good the Rockets are. They have not been good lately. Like they cannot finish games. And then I want to see, like, can Golden State beat a good team? And it's funny just because like the West is like really strong, but I think it's completely mediocre, throughout the conference outside of the Thunder. Like I just think like a lot of these teams are just okay. And like you said, I think Denver is like, to me, at this point, with Dallas completely demolishing everything good about them, and them just like continuing to lose players, I like have no faith in that team or that franchise, period, moving forward. I think it's Denver. Like I believe it's Denver. Like the Lakers have a really fun roster, and I think that they're interesting. God, the Lakers play the Jazz again. That's their next game against Utah. But like, the Lakers are not going to be able to defend at a playoff level. Like, period.
Yeah.
Like, their best defenders are like Jared Vanderbilt and Dorian Finney-Smith, and those are like role players for them. I mean, you look at everybody else, like they don't have the guys. Like if they played Denver in round one, Denver is going to demolish them. Yeah. And they did last year with Anthony Davis healthy. They demolished them. They're going to do the same thing to them, and it may be worse because they won't be able to defend at all. I think they would absolutely demolish them. And right now it would be Lakers Rockets, which I think would be really interesting. I think that would be a very interesting series. The Rockets have proven over the season that they're a better team than the Lakers, but we're talking about like execution down the stretch. I would favor the Lakers, but that would be a very intriguing series.
There's so many. I mean, any series right now feels like it's going to be really good. Like Denver Clippers, like Memphis going Clippers up against the Wolves would be cool.
Yeah.
It's like you said, like there's so many good teams in the West, but like no one's getting to the level of OKC right now. Maybe one of these teams will catch post All-Star break fever, and like have a really nice run to the end of the season, and we'll.
Okay, who are you predicting that could be? Who's your team? Who's your team in the West that you think could be the post All-Star break fever West team?
I mean, it's kind of already happening, but it would be Denver. I mean, they've already won 7 in a row. Them overtaking Memphis, who right now they're only a game and a half back, wouldn't shock me, and then being like the clear number 2 by the end of the season. It's almost, I almost expect that to happen at this point.
Yeah. I mean, Memphis just doesn't lose to teams either, unless it's the Thunder. Like Memphis is 8-2 in their last 10. Like they've played really good basketball, outside of what they looked like against the Thunder. Like,
I will say that both of those teams, like the 3 hardest remaining schedules. Phoenix number 1, which I feel like it's always Phoenix at this time of year.
Yeah, they're cooked.
They're done. They're so cooked.
Yeah,
then it's Memphis and Denver 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So Memphis still has like 2 against the Thunder, 2 against the Cavs, Celtics, Knicks, Nuggets, Lakers. So they still have a lot of big matchups coming up. Yeah. OKC is kind of right in the middle, if you're wondering. They're kind of just. They still have some really fun games coming up. They got 2 against the Lakers, 2 against the Rockets, 2 against the Grizz, 2 against the Nuggets. Like all those are awesome Western Conference matchups, and they're going to lose some of those games.
They will. They'll.
Oh, Andrew, you're gone. Andrew, you're unplugged.
Oh, hold on.
You're back.
Am I back? Am I back?
You're back.
Okay. Yeah, they have those 2 games against Denver in Oklahoma City that are back to back. It's like a Sunday, Monday. That's going to be just very strange, but kind of cool to like. It almost is going to feel like a playoff type matchup against that team, and hopefully we get full squad for both teams. But I kind of expect the West to sit like it is. I've not been impressed with the De'Aaron Fox Spurs yet.
Yeah,
they have,
that's been a disappointment so far.
They like Fox has played well individually, but like they have not looked good. I mean, they have not looked good. They lost to. I mean, they barely beat the Hawks, who have not been good lately. They lost to the Hornets down the stretch in a game that they thought they won because Fox hit this buzzer beater, but he didn't actually shoot it in time. They lost to Orlando by 1, who has been really struggling, and they beat the Wizards by 10. You know, they have the Celtics tonight, which will be interesting, but like that team is not ready to win, which is fine. Like they're not really supposed to be ready to win, but they have not looked good like altogether. I was hoping they could look better than this, and they still have time to kind of get it together. It's not like they're completely out of this, but you know, being 3 games back of the Warriors, who are starting to put it together a little bit, it does not bode well for them. And then like Phoenix, I just feel like is, even though they're only a game back of the Warriors, I feel like they're pretty cooked. I guess Sacramento could fall out of this is like another thing, but they've won 2 in a row. They beat Dallas in what was one of the grossest games that I've watched this season. But yeah, I think I would probably bet on this kind of holding the way that it is, and then Minnesota probably getting through to the 7th seed and playing Memphis or the Nuggets or whoever that is, and then it'll be one of Dallas, Sacramento, Golden State. Which honestly, like we've talked about, like, hey, this might not feel like a traditional 8th seed. I think that might feel more like a traditional 8th seed once we get there, because I know people just want to dog on Sacramento, but in a 1-game scenario, like DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine like could, beat any of those teams. It's not like those teams are beatable, like unbeatable. It could be any of those teams, and I think the Thunder would beat any of those 3 teams like a drum. So it'll be interesting.
So you're not buying the Blazers? Sounds like I didn't hear you mention their name.
God, dude, I would be so mad if I were a Blazers fan. Let me pull up Tankathon, because I would be.
They're in the nice spot right now,
dude. I would be losing it. I would be losing it, because it is like just this blip that happened during the season. Yeah. That is just like, why did this happen? Because it's funny, because the Thunder via the Philadelphia 76ers, who were embarrassing last night, by the way, embarrassing. Like the Thunder could end up having are probably going to end up with a better pick than the Blazers this year in the draft, which is just like, how can you let that happen if you're Portland? Yeah. Because you need this pick. You needed this pick, but instead you go on this weird run. Why? Because maybe Chauncey.
Andrew unplugged again.
Serious?
Oh, you're back now. You got a faulty cord.
It's not good.
I can hear you though. Wait, now I can't hear you.
Hold on.
Oh no. Oh no. Ooh, Andrew's blowing into it.
Did it work?
You sound distant.
Check. Hold on.
It did not.
That's not good. That's not good.
I mean,
hold on.
Now I can
just talk. Okay, you just talk for a second.
So yeah, I was gonna say that I didn't know how Blazers fans were feeling about it, but I was on Blazers Edge last night, and one of their top stories is Portland spinning its wheels in bizarre rebuild, which is just a tough spot to be in. I mean, on the one hand, you got to feel better about Scoot. You're feeling pretty good about Shaden. Like, both of those guys have been good over this recent stretch, like basically since the new year. you hope that they start giving Klingon more time together. I mean, I think the stat is that like Klingon, Shaden, and Scoot have only played like 160 minutes together this season. Andrew, you're still muted. but I can see how mad Andrew is.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad. Am I back now?
Yeah,
Looks like
you're
it's
back.
working. Looks like it's working. I would be so mad if I were a Blazers fan. 'Cause at that stat right there, I would be. I mean, I would be losing it just because of the win-loss record, but I would be losing it because, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And how do you go through the trade deadline without trading anybody?
Well,
How do you
I
do
think
that? Why do you do
what's
that?
happened is they've waited too long. So now any return they get for whether it's Simons or Grant or Ayton, if someone was interested, is going to be super disappointing. I mean, last summer they were talking
cut your
about
losses, though. You have to cut your
I know,
losses,
but
though.
I don't think he's going to do it. I think they'll wait for the summer and hope that there's another deal, which I don't. I mean, maybe a team will be desperate, but like last summer, we know they could have gotten a Lakers first, like a good Lakers first, but they were holding out for 2 and for Jeremy Grant, and they're not going to get it. And now they're definitely not going to get it.
Definitely not getting it. Grant has not had a good season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've really struggled with like timing through this whole rebuild. They've been really poor with it. And this recent run is another example of just like bad timing. Like it's nice that Blazers fans are getting to see some like decent basketball for a change, but they've won so many games that now they're kind of just like their upside is pretty low. Like maybe they could pass Chicago and Philly and get to 7, but that's kind of like the upside because they're already 3.5 games back of the Nets, who are in the 6th spot.
It's
rough.
It's embarrassing. Like it shows just the lack of vision, honestly.
Yeah,
Like they've done a good job of getting young guys. Like they have young guys I think you'd want in Scoot and Shaden and Kamara. I think the Denny Avdia trade was a good one. I think that he's young and has
been really good.
He's got a good contract. I think Klingon was a good pick. And when you look back at that draft, like Klingon is one of the guys that you'd want to have in that draft.
Yeah.
In comparison to a lot of these guys, I think a lot of teams whiffed on players, but I think that Klingon is a guy that you'd want. Like they've done a pretty good job. It's just like you have all these other guys in the way that are going to keep you in like closer to the middle and further away from getting the things that like the guys that you would really want in this next draft. Like that, like they could have had like a Dylan Harper. Like Dylan Harper would be great for them. Like he's bigger. He can play next to Scoot. And also like they don't even start Scoot, which is also just like a problem to me overall. Like don't do that. Like you want him to go against starters because that's how he's going to get better. Like he's not going to get better being your 6th man playing against second units like that. I don't know. We can stop talking about the Blazers, but that's just.
I mean, it's amazing how
disaster.
bad New Orleans has been in comparison. Like they're really doing good. Like 9 in a row. Wow. Would have never guessed that.
Dude, like that they are like they have an interesting opportunity in front of them in that they can tank while also having a decent roster.
Yeah.
But boy, like it's the way they play is concerning. Like the way, like even with the roster they had the other night, like they shouldn't have lost by 36 to the Thunder with who they had available. It also made me wonder, like, what's going through Jeremiah Robinson Earl's head as he's playing this Thunder team. And it's like, man, I was just over here. Like I could be.
I'm sure he's very happy to be getting NBA minutes.
Maybe he is. Maybe he is. He definitely wouldn't be playing on this team though. But it's just interesting. Like, I mean, I remember having conversations with people sitting at the scores table watching JRE. People had some things to say about him. People liked him. People liked him a lot during his rookie season.
We all liked him. Do you want to take a break and we'll do some historical stats?
Let's take a break. Let's do some historical stats. We'll be right back. And we're back after that quick break. Al, you want to lead us
Yeah.
through some historical stats?
Yeah, so I mean, season's not over. It's only All-Star break, so these stats could change. But something that I feel like I haven't been as aware of as I should be is what this team's profile looks like historically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that the more you expose yourself to other fan bases' opinions of the Thunder, the less likely it is that you'll realize how great they are. Because I feel like there's so many people out there that want to like be the first to say like, oh, this team's gonna fall apart in the playoffs. Like there's so much of that out there right
Totally.
now.
Totally.
And I want people to understand just how crazy their statistical profile is right now. And that saying those types of things, maybe they'll end up being true, but it has not been true for any team that has sniffed what their statistical profile is right now. So I have a couple stats. Some of these I've posted on Blue Sky, but I also have some new ones for you. So first, on cleaning the glass, since 03-04 season, which is as far back as their database goes, there have been 3 teams with a point differential over 12. Now, in cleaning the glass, point differential, I'm doing quotations, is really net rating because it's offensive rating minus defensive rating. So it's a little confusing because if you go on ESPN, point differential is just points per game minus opponents' points per game. So we're kind of talking about net rating. So there are 3 teams that have had a net rating, let's say over 12. 08 Boston plus 12.2, 15 Golden State plus 12.1, and 17 Golden State plus 12.7. All 3 of those teams were champs. Okay. And all 3 of those net ratings are within a pretty, narrow window, plus 12.1 to plus 12.7. OKC's net rating on cleaning the glass currently is plus 14.8. Plus 14.8. Those 3 that I just mentioned, they're the highest in the database. OKC right now is like multiple points per 100 possessions above that. Plus 14.8. In the last 2 weeks, they've been a plus 25.4.
Yo. Yeah, this February has been crazy. Yeah, they're plus 13.3 just like in net rating on NBA.com, which would be the highest net rating ever.
And so, I went to check on that because I wanted, obviously, clean the glass filters out garbage time, which I actually think for this stat makes a lot of sense because when you're looking at like the best of the best, you know that these are teams that are getting like way up, and by the fourth quarter, they're going to be emptying the ends of their benches. So I think it makes sense in this case to remove garbage time. The best example of this is that 15 Warriors team that was a plus 12.1. If you include garbage time, it goes down to a plus 9.9. Like that's how big the difference was.
That's
between
wild.
those. Yeah. So that's the first one. All right. Second one.
I like that first one.
Yeah, first one's great. Second one is a stat called SRS, which this is a basketball reference stat. It takes into account both point differential and strength of schedule. So what's nice about this one is that it goes back through all of NBA history because it's basketball reference. There have only been 5 teams with an SRS above 11, okay? 17 Warriors, 72 Lakers, 96 Bulls, 71 Bucks, all champions, and then the 25 Thunder. The range of SRS for those 4 teams I just mentioned is 11.35 to 11.92. OKC is currently at 13.919. Again, just like in the same way that they have this huge gap between 1 and 2 in defensive rating, they're having this huge gap between 1 and 2 in all these like historical general stats too. That's crazy. And if you look at the full list, like I did like every team that had an SRS above 10, there are 12 of them. The only 2 that didn't win the championship were the 16 Warriors and the 16 Spurs, which was a great reminder to me that like 2016 is the last great NBA season. Like the fact that you had those 2 historical teams and the Thunder and the Cavs who actually won the whole thing, like it's very rare to see that. I mean, this year you could say like, okay, we have like 2 historical teams with the Thunder and the Cavs because the Cavs, some of these numbers are really good for them too, not quite as good. And you have the Celtics, but still like that's 3 teams. Like 2016 was just stacked.
Yeah, that's insane.
Again, so that was SRS. Then you can look at just average margin of victory. And this is what you commonly would think of as point differential. Just the difference between how many points you score per game versus your opponents. OKC, number one historically, 13.44. The only other teams like above 12, 72 Lakers, 71 Bucks, 96 Bulls. Like these are the teams you see again and again at the top of these little rankings. And again, all champions, and again, a massive gap between OKC and the number 2 team. Now, there are some reasons why you could imagine, like some context to this is that you could imagine a reason why a team in 2025 would be more likely to create this kind of gap that OKC is because of the variance of 3-pointers. Like you probably get more blowouts than you might have gotten back in the 70s. And so maybe that's influencing this as well. But it's still like,
But then my question would be like, why has no other team done this then?
Yeah, exactly. And when it is another team, it's like the 17 Warriors. It's like the KD Warriors are the only other
team that we said like killed the NBA, like because of how good they are. I mean, like, come on. Yeah.
And
also,
yeah.
Can I just say that like within all of this, the Thunder haven't had one game where they have had their full squad. They haven't had one game because I think when you think about stats like this, you think, okay, they have been fully healthy. They have reached their apex. They have, this is like best case scenario in every single way. Like everything has fallen into place for them, which is not the case. And the games, you think about the games that they've lost, a majority of them have been when they have been without both their big men in the games.
Yeah.
And like that things were not working out due to injury, and you had to start like J-Dub at center. And by the way, like they won some of the games with J-Dub starting at center. I mean, it's wild because they've been through it. They've had to go through some adversity and they've had to figure some stuff out throughout the season. Like it just shows the strength of like the depth of the roster. It shows the strength of the coaching staff that they've been able to do this like this. I mean, imagine
and just
where they
the
would
system,
be if they were yes.
Being able to plug in anyone and they're still elite. Like as long as Shea is there, like they can be elite.
That's the crux of it. Is that like Shea is, I think over the next few years, Shea is going to establish himself as like a guy like similar to like Kobe Bryant, similar to guys like that in the league, where it's like, okay, this is like the dominant guard of the next decade. And he plays like those guys too, which I think, I love watching Shea play. And I think that I think this next playoff run and the next few playoff runs are going to establish him as like an all-time great scoring guard, like period.
Yeah. Final stat, and this one I really like. So Basketball Reference has a stat called relative defensive rating. So this is basically, what is this team's defensive rating relative to the average defensive rating of that season? So on Basketball Reference, OKC's defensive rating right now is like a 105. The average is somewhere around 114. So their relative defensive rating is a -9, which I think you can interpret as like OKC holds opponents to 9 fewer points per 100 possessions than the average NBA team in 2025.
Yeah.
So how many teams throughout NBA history do you think have had a relative defensive rating greater than 9?
It's got to be like 1.
It's 2.
Okay.
And the 2 teams are 1964 Boston Celtics and 1965 Boston Celtics.
It's just like these teams that like you can't even comprehend what the league was. It is almost like you shouldn't even count them because the league was like nothing close to what it is today. Like no team has been this dominant.
We're talking about like peak Bill Russell Celtics, like winning every single year. That's where you have to go back to find a defense that was this dominant relative to the rest of the league. Like even that great Spurs defense from, I want to say like 2013, 14 or whenever that was, they're like a -8.8. So they're very close. And I will say that like one benefit in this stat for OKC is that there's not another elite defense. Like if you're in a season where there are 2 dominant defenses, that's obviously going to hurt your relative defensive rating a little bit because the average
Yeah.
is going to be a little bit better than maybe it would be normally. And there's not really a second dominant defensive team this season, as you can tell by the gap between 1 and 2. So that helps a little bit, but still that just kind of blew my mind that you have to go all the way back to the mid 60s and Bill Russell to find a team that was this dominant relative to all the other teams. So all of this is to say, like, if this was any other team, Andrew, I feel like I would be saying, like, how could you not choose? We're not just talking about like the best team in the league. We're talking about one of the greatest teams of all time. And yet because it's my team, I'm very hesitant because it's like, what is more Homer? I don't think there's anything more Homer than the phrase, I think my team is the greatest team of all time. Like you can't beat that. No Homer could beat that statement.
It's true.
You'd have to do like, this team is the greatest of all time across all sports. That's like the last level you could reach. But like right now, their statistical profile says that not only are they one of the greatest teams of all time, they're creating a gap between themselves and the teams that come like, 2 to 5 in these rankings, which is just insane to think about.
Yeah.
And so now you go back to some of these people who are starting to doubt OKC based on, their kind of retcon of what happened in that Dallas series last year. And it's like, listen, again, it might happen. Maybe this team, like there something happens in the playoffs, like they just go cold shooting and they do have an early exit. But like based on what we've seen so far, there's really no reason to select another team to potentially win the championship this season.
And they're not the same team that they were in that playoff series. Like,
some of those plays against the Pelicans where it's like at the beginning of that third quarter where they're zipping the ball around, they miss the shot, and you see Hartenstein come in, grab an offensive rebound, and kick it back out. Yeah. Like just having a guy who can get you like 4 or 5 offensive rebounds a night and keep those possessions going for an offense that is already super efficient. It's just I just get nervous saying this stuff because it is like crazy. It's and you don't want to get too ahead of yourself, but it's like it's more that I just can't believe the stats are this crazy. Like this team is obviously great. We all recognize they're great. Even people who like doubt the Thunder will say, obviously they're great. They have 9 losses. Like you can't deny that. But now we're talking about like historical stuff. And so you're getting into a very different realm. And the thing about all these other teams that I've listed these are teams that had proved it, like the 96 Bulls, they had been good, before the 71 Bucks had Kareem, like even the 17 Warriors, like they should have probably won the 16 title. They get KD. Yeah. So OKC is unique in that they are one of these teams, but haven't really, done anything relatively speaking to these other teams when it comes to the playoffs. Yeah. And I think that's where the disconnect is for people. But at the same time, you have to recognize what is happening in front of your face.
Yeah. I think that over the course of the next several months, I think they're going to flip the way that people think about them. I think this had to happen with the 15 Warriors too. Like people did not think that 14-15 Warriors were like and they obviously were a very good team. They won 67 games, but no one thought they were going to win the title.
Oh, I remember
one thought that they were actually going to do it.
The whole like thing about like how a jump shooting team can't win the title. Like I remember Charles.
Yeah, go watch, go look at TNT clips from them. Then, yeah, I mean, like you look at their it is eerily similar, to this Thunder team, and that you have like Steph Curry, who won MVP that year, which I think Shea's going to win MVP this year. You have like the second scorer in Klay Thompson, who I think made his first All-Star team. Was it that year or was it the year before? I can't remember. 14, yeah, he's made his first All-Star team that year, 14-15.
Yeah.
You have like the Draymond Green. Like nobody thought that this team was going to actually do it, and they went out and did it. And like that, and then everything flipped, and then you start thinking differently about Curry in your head. I think people start thinking differently about Shea. Yeah. I think people think differently about J-Dub and differently about all of these guys, honestly. I think it'll start to flip. And what's crazy for the Thunder is like they have a lot more depth than that Warriors team had. They have all these assets where it's like where does this actually go? Because I think, and some of it too is like that the Thunder have not done it yet. And we've talked about this a little bit on this show. Is like the Thunder haven't done it yet, and they've had great teams and they've had great players. You know, they had, you know, the 2012 run with KD, Russ, and Harden, and you just thought like if you would have like sat back at that time, and that's when we started Down to Dunk was in 2012, and like you pulled us, be like, yeah, the Thunder are definitely winning a title in the next 5 years, you know, and they just never did. And so I think it's hard for us, even as like just, you know, covering the team and, you know, being fans of the team, to sit back and think that could they actually do it? Because they came so close so many times that it's hard for us to mentally even get to the point where it's like, yeah, they're going to win the title, and like not only win it, but I think this team, because this is just like year 2 of this like run for them. Like what are they going to look like in 3 years when these guys are all in their overlapping primes? Yeah. Like that to me is like when things get really scary. So yeah, I mean, it's wild what I think they're going to be able to do. We do have a super chat from GT and New, which I think is a great question. He says, can we please address the elephant in the room? Attendance this year at home games has been embarrassing. We are literally on track to be the best regular season team of all time. Why are there so many empty seats? Yeah, I don't have a great answer for that. I haven't been in the arena in a while, but my wife and my son went to the game on Monday. Our neighbor Brett, shout out to Brett, called them last minute and was like, hey, do you want my tickets to the game? And they went to the game and they were like, yeah, there's a ton of empty seats. And like some of it could be that like the flu is like going crazy in Oklahoma City right now, and it's a Monday night and it's kind of weird. But like, listen, like I hope that people understand that that this team is a historically great team. This is like the 90s Bulls. Like you have that in your city. You have like a version of the 90s Bulls in your city. And if you would say to yourself, like, man, if you could go watch the 90s Bulls in person and you could do it, like you would absolutely be like, yeah, why? I would love to do that if I could do that multiple times.
Any of these teams that I mentioned.
Yeah. Like you have the chance. So like go to the games. Go to the games. If you have tickets, great. If you don't, be like my neighbor Brett and find somebody that will go fill your seats, because I promise you there are people in this city that want to go there, that want to be there, that want to fill those seats. If you have tickets, find somebody that will actually go. Like find somebody that will go, because I promise you can find somebody, and this is a team worth watching. I mean, it's honestly like my recovery has not been easy. It's not been fun. It's been way harder than I expected it would be. But like one of like it, I get like my day just feels better when I know I get to watch this team. You know, like today, like waking up knowing that I get to watch this team play today, like it just makes me feel a little bit better. It's a joy to watch this team. If you go and I think that something that would almost help a lot of Thunder fans is like go watch another NBA basketball game. Like just go watch any random matchup. Like I watched Dallas and Sacramento from start to finish the other night. And boy, like it's almost like they're playing a different game. Like how much better the Thunder are than those teams right now.
Yeah.
Like it is a huge difference. I don't even know that like some Thunder fans even realize how good they have it right now with this team. So like go watch this team. If you can get to the game tonight, which I know is going to be a struggle because of the ice and everything, but if you can find a way to go see the Thunder in the next couple of weeks, or I guess really it won't be a couple of weeks because we have the All-Star break. But if you have the chance to go see this team this season and you have the chance to go see them multiple times, go fill that stadium, because it is they have put in the work. The front office has done a ridiculous job. The team works really, really hard. And they're just a joy to watch. It's like go watch this. Like Alex has done a great job of like putting into context. Like this is a historically great team, period. Like don't don't do this. Like, don't leave seats open. If you have season tickets and you don't go to every game, that's fine. Like, I know it's hard to do that, but it is like, it should be a heavy responsibility for you to make sure that your seat is filled, in my opinion, because like this team has done enough. And like, it's great to, like, to have tickets and you buy them and the revenue, all of that, whatever. But like, please, like, fill those seats, because like this team deserves it, honestly. And I think like, and people here, there are a lot of people that want to go watch them. And so like, go watch them. It's fun. The stadium should be full on a night-to-night
I'll
basis.
say from an outsider's perspective, it's very rare that I notice it when I'm watching a game. It is the kind of thing that you can tell a lot more easily when you're actually sitting in the stands.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking at like the ESPN attendance right now. You know, they're like middle of the league, which I think is fine. It's very funny, some of the teams that are low. Like, do you know what team has the lowest attendance this season?
I don't.
The Clippers.
That's actually a team that popped into my head when you said that. But yeah,
and then like, you know, like the Grizzlies
sad.
the Grizzlies are 28th. So that I don't know. I agree that like we should be up there where like Dallas is number one. Like Dallas has great fans. I feel like
they do
every time
they
I
do
watch,
have great fans.
every time I watch a Mavericks game on TV, it is always like locked and loaded. Like it is packed.
It's
like
it's
those fans
electric.
are always ready to
is.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you feel like it should be that, and you know it will be that in the playoffs. But
oh yeah,
yeah,
it will be. But just find a way. And I know that like, I mean, I've got a family and a job, and I've got like a ton of stuff going on all the time, and so I know that you can't, if you're a season ticket holder, get to every single game. I think that is pretty rare, that like everybody that you go to like every single game, but at the same time, like find somebody that would want to go, you know, like I think that you have some responsibility to make sure that, you know, everybody, you know, every seat is filled to some level. So we do have a new shirt. It's the iHart shirt that you can go find on, there's a link at the top of our Twitter page on Down to Dunk that will take you to where all of our merch is. I have this on my Twitter account. I'll retweet it again today, and I put it in the description of the podcast as well. So go get your iHart shirts just in time for Valentine's Day, which is this Friday, if you didn't know. So go get those. Al, anything else that you want to get off your chest before we go here?
No, I'm pretty happy. I'm a little disappointed in the Sixers. They're starting to get me a little worried about the pick, because they're only a game back of the Nets for the 6th spot, which OKC would still have like better than 50% odds. But they're in range now where they actually, like, if they can get to 6, that's pretty good. I know they don't want to do that. I mean, Embiid and Maxey were playing in that game. I don't know if Paul George was playing in that game against the Raptors.
He was. Yes, he was.
He was. So all three, and they lost to the Raptors without. I know RJ didn't play, and
Pirtle didn't play.
Pirtle didn't play.
Pirtle didn't play.
Yes. So I don't know what to think about that team anymore. I was hoping they would settle into like that 8 to 9 range, so I could feel really good about getting that pick. But I guess if you're like trying to max out this pick, I mean, them ending up at 6 is probably the best, because that gives you the best chance to get 7, I think.
Yeah,
because then only
Chicago, they're eventually going to pass Chicago, or Chicago's eventually going to pass them.
We keep saying that, Andrew, and it keeps not happening. And now I don't know. They're already 2 wins back.
I know they lost by 40 to the Pistons last night.
I know. I thought that might be a 74-pointer. I was getting excited at halftime.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, Modest Buzelis was the high scorer for the Bulls last night. He scored 12 points.
You know, Giddey had a nice game. 5-10, 11, 6-4, 1 steal, 1 block.
Yeah, it's it's sad. And like Vooch played, Kobe White played, Ayo Dosunmu played. Like they have like decent players out there. Patrick Williams. Like, aren't you? God, it's so fun. Remember like the Patrick Williams rumors, or at least fan rumors about like the Thunder trading for him. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that they did not kick the tires on that guy, and that they have Caruso instead. Caruso, by the way, I don't think we mentioned him, but Caruso's been playing really good basketball lately.
He has.
and,
Hey,
like,
I gotta go.
His shot
I'm
is
sorry.
falling.
Sorry.
Okay, Al.
have to go. Bye. See you.
Bye, Al. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Hope everybody's doing great. The Thunder play the Heat tonight in Oklahoma City. We have the All-Star break coming up this weekend, which will be exciting to have a few Thunder guys there, at least I guess 2 Thunder guys there. So they have Miami Heat tonight, and then Minnesota on Thursday night. So exciting couple games for the Thunder before they get a long, much deserved break. We know Chet tonight. I was going to read the injury report as well. So the Thunder are going to be missing Oos, who has been dealing with this right soleus strain that's kept him out. Chet will be resting tonight, and then you have like the regular AJ Mitchell, who is out, who had toe surgery. You have Nikola Topic, who's still dealing with that ACL for the rest of the season, and then Casey Wallace will be out through the All-Star break with a right shoulder strain. So that's against the Miami Heat. I think the hope and like the expectation for me is that like Chet will play against Minnesota in Minnesota, which will be kind of a cool like homecoming game for him to play against the Timberwolves in Minnesota, which is his hometown. And then kind of get to see them against another good team. So Minnesota has had a very, I would say, shaky season. And so I think it'll be interesting, though, because they are one of the good teams in the West, in my opinion, and a team that I think is, a decent measuring stick game for them. So I think that will be a lot of fun. I've got a few minutes if you guys want to ask questions in the chat. I can hang around for a few more minutes. If you guys want to fire away some questions, we've got a ton of people in the chat right now. If you guys would just hit the like button, would appreciate that. If we got everybody that's watching live right now to hit the like button, I think we would probably hit a all-time number of likes on a video. So if you'd please do that, I would very much appreciate it. Hope everybody in OKC is staying safe today with this weather going on. I don't know if you guys were woken up by like the thunder ice last night. It was kind of weird night in Oklahoma City. But Steve OK 1969 wants to know, how's the rehab going? Rehab has been hard, I would say. It has been difficult. I had a pretty big setback a couple weeks ago. But swelling is starting to get a little bit better. I'm hoping to be able to bear weight on my legs soon and get back to walking, and hopefully be back at the arena soon and giving you guys some Down to Dunk stickers. Would be really glad to be able to do that. Okay. Let's see. Philip question said, it's hilarious how much the talk around the Thunder has changed from positive to negative. How do you feel with some of the fans becoming Shea haters? Fans are Shea haters? I mean, if fans are Shea haters, then they have no clue what they're talking about. They have lost their minds. They have absolutely lost their minds if they are hating on Shea. I mean, I think that by the time this run is over, he will establish himself as the best Thunder player of all time, which is saying something. So like haters from other teams, like who cares? Like, here's the thing. If from other teams other fans, like from other teams that don't like Shea, like let them. That's what I say. I say let them do it. Let them hate him, because here's the deal: is like when other fans from other teams hate your guy with a passion like that, it means that he's really good. It means he's really good. It's part of being a superstar. It's like part of what you ask for whenever you become great, for sure. Like the free throw merchant stuff, like let them talk. Let them talk. Who cares what they say? Like that's my opinion. Like I don't get in conversations about the free throw merchant stuff because who cares? It doesn't matter. Let them talk. Let them talk. Let them talk in circles about why they think that this guy's not good. Like if they think that he's only free throws, then they're not watching the games. So let them not watch. Let them talk. Who cares? Don't get in arguments with them. It doesn't matter. Like the best way to end an argument on Twitter is to not engage and don't give it life. Like any time that you even try to give stats or whatever, you're just like feeding a poor argument. Like don't engage in poor arguments. What's our 8-man playoff rotation from Josh Smith? What's our rotation in the playoffs? 8-man, 10-man. I mean, they're going to play a lot of guys, and they should. There's no question that they should play a lot of guys. But I mean, you think about like the starting lineup that they have with Shea, Dort, J-Dub, iHart, Chet. I think Case and Wallace is a given. I think Wiggins is a given. I think Isaiah Joe is a given. I think Caruso is a given. There's 9. And then I think Kenrich should play. I think Jay will play in spots, 10, 11. And then like if AJ gets healthy, will AJ play in some spots? Like probably, but that's maybe where it ends there. Like I don't expect to see like Oos or Dylan Jones or Brandon Carlson or my guy Adam Flagler in the rotation in the playoffs. I don't think that's happening, but I think that you can. The beauty of it is like you have these point of attack defenders that you don't have to overtax. If you get to the playoffs healthy, you don't have to overtax Dort. You don't have to overtax Caruso. You don't have to overtax Case and Wallace. You get to have this like 3-headed monster that is going to just demolish teams without a doubt. Let's see. Nick Octi says, I can't wait to see Topic pick and rolls with our bigs next year. A lot of his film from last year professionally was specifically in the pick and roll. Yeah, I think that the cool thing about this team this year is that there's so many layers to it. Like there's so many layers to it in what they can do and what they can be. Like they can throw one of the best small ball teams out there. They can play now with this jumbo lineup. They can play with anybody. Like the one big lineups work, obviously. And with Chet and iHart, they're very different looks. And throwing Topic out there next year, which we need to see it. It's all theoretical at this point, but like having a guy that can really run the offense like that, that's just kind of the one thing that kind of lack off the bench. I think AJ can do it to a degree, but I think Topic could do it on a totally different level if he's the guy that we think he is. And so like there's a lot, there's a lot to get to. Like you have to jump pretty big to get to a point where Topic is like legitimately playing next year. But I think that there is a belief within the organization. Obviously they picked him in the lottery, and they're going to give him a shot, but that will certainly be interesting. I agree that I think like his decision making and his passing and his ability to kind of create a little bit offensively and like just to get to the rim too. I mean, you go watch him, something that he did consistently was like get to the rim and he would finish. He's got great touch. So I think like he is definitely an interesting wild card within all of this, without a doubt. Let's see if there's any more questions. Tech War says, how soon before iHart gets his first 3-point make? There have been, I think it's on its way. I thought many times it was happening, as he fires it away, like get ready to like tweet out that he makes his first 3. But yeah, no, it's wild. Tommy Bailey in the chat, what's the ceiling for this team? My heart's telling me 16-0 in the playoffs, but how much better can they get over time? I mean, the 16-0 is wild. I think that is an unrealistic expectation for any team, but I do over the course of the next 5 years think that they have that kind of ceiling. Like I really do. And there will be more teams that emerge and that are really good across the West and across the NBA in general. But 16-0, I think is a ceiling that they could hit, but that's the highest bar. I think like Tech War in the chat says, like, just go win it. Like, go win the thing. It's going to feel so good for Thunder fans, like, for them to finally do it and for them to do it like this, without a doubt. So they certainly have that ceiling, and like Alex has shown, today, that like this is a historically great team. This is a team that can go win it all, and like that should be like the expectation put on them, based on how they have played this season. Is like, this is a team that can go win it this year, without a doubt. When you go look across even the Eastern Conference, and we think really highly of the Celtics, and we should, but they've had a strange season. They've lost 16 games this year. You look at Cleveland, and Cleveland's had a great year, second best net rating in the NBA, 43-10. That's a really, really good team. You think about the beatdown that they put on the Cavs in Oklahoma City. Like, I think the Thunder are better than that team. And like, it's hard to argue with, like, statistically, like their offense has been better overall, but I think not against the Thunder defense, and not whenever they are full squad, which we haven't seen them, by the way, play against the Cavs full squad yet. We have seen like the full Cavaliers team against the Thunder, and I just don't think it's particularly close. Like the Knicks have not played well against really good competition. I think the Celtics are like the biggest one. I think, honestly, like, to me, if I were to rank like the opponents for the Thunder that I think will get in the way of the Thunder actually accomplishing what we're talking about, it's Denver, who has struggled with depth, and it's Boston. And Boston is just gonna have to really shoot it, in order to beat the Thunder. So, quite interesting. Please be sure to go get your iHart shirts. I think it's a really fun design. I think it's a fun shirt. It's fun to have some Isaiah Hartenstein merch out there. Go get those. Again, please like this video right now if you're watching live. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, would very much appreciate that. We're trying to grow this thing. If you just tell your friends about Down to Dunk as well. There are tons of Thunder fans all the time. You can hardly go anywhere in Oklahoma City without seeing something about the Thunder or talking about the Thunder. So yeah, please go do that. A couple more questions from Daniel Kussler. He wants to know, with the draft picks coming up next year, with Topic coming in and AJ having signed a contract, who on the team is going to have to be moved to keep our roster in control? I think it'll be interesting to see how they handle this. But I mean, I think if you're talking about guys that on the chopping block that could be moved so that they can have room to bring in guys, one, I doubt that they're going to keep all three picks. I just don't think it makes a ton of sense to bring in three new guys when you have these other guys to develop. But I think that it's like pretty obvious that we're looking at guys like Dylan Jones and Ousmane Dieng, are guys that I think could be had via trade. So, but we'll see. We'll see. It's hard to predict those things, and you kind of want to see the full season play out before you make predictions like that. But I think like those are the two guys that make the most sense. Carson Carpenter says, when do you think we are going to have to worry about the Lakers? I think how good the Lakers are is going to be a little bit overblown this season. They have a good team. They're going to have a really good offensive team. I'll say that. You have LeBron, who's been good lately, but has not had his best season. He's 40 years old, for crying out loud. Like, he's 40. Like, guys don't lead teams when they're 40. And so like they got sent like the biggest life raft ever by the Mavericks in getting Luka, which is great. But like, this front office has a lot of work to do. They have a lot of work to do. And it's also, they got thrown another life raft, not making the Mark Williams trade and having that 2031 pick in their pockets still. And I think they can do better than Mark Williams with that trade package of Connect and that first rounder. I think they can do better than that. And so we'll see. Some of it is going to hinge on like how good can Austin Reeves be in the future. How good can Connect be in the future if they are going to keep him? But I mean, it's like Finney Smith is a fine player. I don't think he's like some great player, and he's not going to be somebody that's like super long for this team either, in my opinion. Like they have a lot of work to do to like be on the Thunder's level, in my opinion. They don't have a ton of time either with this LeBron Luka pairing, and then they're going to have to go get some real players. They don't have a lot on this team of like competitive playoff guys. I mean, you swap AD for Luka, and they were, I mean, it was a 4-1, in the playoffs against Denver last year. I think maybe Luka helps them a little bit, but the defense, like, how do they defend the rim? How do they defend the paint? Like they've got some real issues that are there. And like, we won't really know those until really after the All-Star break, because they got the Jazz twice. So I don't know. I'm not really worried about it. Daniel Zolini, also no perimeter defense too, like Rusty TV says. Like, yeah, like who's their point of attack defender? Like, who's the guy that stops the ball? It's 40-year-old LeBron James, probably. Finney Smith, who I don't think is equipped to guard guards at this point. Jared Vanderbilt, who has not played a lot of games. Like Gabe Vincent, who is 6'3". Like, no. Like, they don't have I am not scared of that Lakers team, to be honest. I don't think that they have the rim protection. I mean, think about that Dallas team. What was special about that Dallas team is they had elite defense on the interior. And that was like the thing that really stymied the Thunder, was that. Like, that was the thing. It was like the interior defense, the way that they kind of shut things down and they put the Thunder in the mud. That was the thing. And then they made all their corner threes. Aaron Elizabeth wants to know, what do you think will happen with the Mavs with the postseason? I think they're either going to lose in the play-in or lose in round one. I think this team is cooked. I think that franchise is cooked. You look at everything that's happened from top to bottom over the last few weeks. Like they have all the markers of a bad franchise right now. You look at the way that they're treating their fans, who have every right to be upset. And they should know that. And they should let it play out. Because you know what's worse than having somebody say fire Nico on the Jumbotron is you then threatening to arrest that person and escorting them out of the building. It shows a level of censorship that's like almost un-American. Like, they're handling this more poorly, like so poorly. And it shows like leadership from the top down trickles down so fast. And you see what you're made of really fast. And the PR debacles that have been happening is just rough. It's just really rough. And so, like, to me, one, they're not healthy. That's the biggest problem that they're having now. Like, if that team is like fully healthy, I think that they've got a shot to win a first round series. But when you think about like what's going to happen down the stretch of games, like, it's all on Kyrie Irving, who's not a spring chicken. Like, he's a really good player. He's a deserving all-star this year. I thought he should have made it outright and not just been an injury replacement. I think he's had a great season. I think Kyrie is a really good player. But we're talking about a 32, he'll turn 33 next month. And he's got a bulging disc in his back. Like, he's played about as well, if not better, than what could have been expected of him. But to me, he's a number 2 guy. 80's a number 2 guy. You have to have the number 1 guys to win a playoff series in the Western Conference, period. If you don't have that number 1 guy, it's really, really tough. When you go look at, like, Luka Doncic is a number 1 guy. That's why the Lakers have a chance, is that they have 2 alphas. They have 2 number 1 guys on their team. And that's why they have a chance. And if I'm looking at Dallas, like, they don't have a number 1 guy anymore. They just flat out don't. I mean, you look at what Luka did in the playoffs last year. I mean, in 22 games, he was 29 points, 8.7 boards, 8 assists, almost 2 steals per game. I mean, that's a number one guy. They don't have that anymore. I'm not as scared of them for sure. Okay. Hope everybody's having a great day. Stay safe. Don't get out on those roads unless you have to. Hopefully things will improve throughout the day, although I don't know if they're going to. But enjoy the Thunder game tonight. And then tomorrow we'll have another pod for you guys Friday morning. The Fry Pod will be back heading into the All-Star break. We'll talk about the All-Star format. We'll talk about our expectations for those games. I think it should be pretty fun to see Shea and J-Dub in this like weird all-star format, but I think it could be pretty fun. And then to just kind of get this team to have a break and then to come back in full force, hopefully after the all-star break, everybody feeling good and ready to go. And, you know, Chet getting more conditioning and all of that, I think is going to be really, really good for this team as they head back for this last little stretch of the season before we get to the playoffs. It's going to be really exciting. So really, really appreciate you guys listening and hanging out with us this morning. It means a lot to me that we get to do this and that you guys listen. Again, please share the show. Hope you guys have a great, great Wednesday. We'll talk to you guys again on Friday.